kaibigan, welcome to another episode of In My Toolbox. Of course, mga kaibigan, this is your weekly talk show exclusively only here at PHLV. Tonight, mga kaibigan, we delve into the realms of finance and business, of course, exploring the pertinent topics aimed at providing insights and guidance. Well, it's crucial to emphasize that while we offer expertise, we are not legal or tax advisors. Therefore, the information that we will be sharing here is not a substitute to any personal advice tailored to your specific circumstances. Mga kaibigan, always seek the counsel of qualified professionals. Always remember that before making any significant decisions. Of course, my name again is Enrico. I'm an economist, financial expert, business consultant, and an entrepreneur. Well, guys, stay connected with me through PHLV Radio or catch me in my Facebook or drop me an email at enrico.inmytoolbox@gmail.com. All right, so let's start this topic for this week, mga kaibigan, or tonight, how to grow a successful business. Well, first and foremost, do you have a business, right? Or do you want to have a business? Well, let's talk about how to grow it and how to make it successful. Well, to build a successful business, mga kaibigan, you need more than a good or a great idea. Again, it just doesn't end in just having an idea. You have to be well organized. You have to be flexible, and you have to be creative, and you have to develop a knack for for paying close attention to the details, and while you are never losing sight for the bigger picture, the way you envision the business. So you should also be prepared to make some personal sacrifices. Indeed, this is your business. You need to know what personal sacrifices when you run your business. So whatever type of business you have in mind, there are some basic tips or concepts that can help you get, growing your business or even to get you started. Okay, so I mentioned a while ago about getting yourself organized. Well, that's something that you have to consider really when building a business or how to make it successful. Get organized. To be able to achieve a success as a business owner, you have to be well organized, as I've mentioned, because this will actually help you complete the tasks efficiently. Organized efficiently. Okay, and then while you're doing that, you have to stay top on a lot of things that needs to be done. Okay, so a simple way to get or stay organized is for you to be able to create your to-do list. I know this is very simple, but it's actually very crucial in making your business very successful. Okay, you have to make sure that you have to have a to-do list or your daily to-do list. And then as you are able to complete each of these items, you have to check it off on the list. Remember too, mga kaibigan, that some of these tasks are more important than the others. So how I actually tell that to people that I speak to with regard to business is you have your big rocks and your small rocks. So the big rocks are, of course, the most important ones, and what are the other things that you can do that can be done the next day or so. So you have just bear in mind, you have to aim to tackle the high priority one first, right? And then you go to the least priority. So there are many resources for us to learn what your big rock and small rocks are, that they will actually be able to teach you how to get yourself or your business organized. And there's a lot there. Microsoft may even have one, like the Microsoft Planner. There's a lot there. You just have to Google it, and what actually fits on your strategy or your way of getting things organized. That's the tool that you would want to get, Well, for me, a simple Excel spreadsheet will be able to meet my needs already. If you have a small business, right? So you just have to make sure that you have organizational tool. And then, of course, it's actually going to work to what requirements you have, especially in the early days. I remember, I don't know if you guys know Lotus 123. That's where I started, as far as that, before even Excel came in, right? So another tip that I could give you on how to grow a successful business, mga kaibigan, is, of course, you have to know how to keep a very detailed record. No matter how busy you are, it's not excuse for you not to record whatever it is about your business, right? You want to have a successful business, well, you have to take time to keep a careful accounting records. So this is where that the business financial, you will know where your business is standing on the financial side. And of course, these things can often get a better idea, or you can actually better understand, of any potential challenges that you might be facing. You don't see it right now, but when you go detail, especially on your accounting records, you will see some items there that you will say, oh yeah, you will have your aha moment. I should have known this one. You don't want to say that, right? You would want to say, it's good that I catch it at this early time, or I caught it in the early time, right? So many businesses today, they actually keep two records. Now, especially today, right, guys? One is a physical record, and the other one now is actually saved in the cloud. So if you don't understand what cloud is, you might want to Google it. So this is another way for you to store all of your, business paperworks. Now you have to put it on the cloud. You can do that, right? So now, as a business owner, you no longer have to worry about losing crucial data, because you have two ways on how to put it. But nowadays there's a lot of things that that you can actually utilize. Well, if you write it, that might be caught in fire. If you put it in the cloud or your computer, that you might get viruses, right? So, well, there's just a lot. But then again, it's safe to have at least two places that you put all of this data, right? So another thing to be successful in the business, guys, is this is what I always do. I analyze my competition. I want to make sure in the industry that I'm in, I want to make sure that I know who my competitors are, and I analyze them. I really do. I even get into their business just to make sure I know how they operate. I know how they think, right? Because you can't afford to ignore your competitors, especially on what strategies they're doing. You want to make sure that you're always ahead of the game, And then you have to make sure that you take time to study and learn from all of these competitors that you have. Larger companies actually devote significant resources in obtaining this, what you call competitive intelligence, right? Now, once you know who your competitor is, this is what I tell my people too. That's a competitive advantage too. What are they competitive at? What their advantage? What's their best at? What did they do differently from you? So you learn from them. So by this now, you can now go about analyzing the competition. And this can depend on, of course, what nature of business you have. But say, for example, if you're a restaurant or a store owner, you may simply be able to just go there and dine in or shop from that retail store, right? And then you would know where the competitor is, how they do their business, how they treat their clients, so you will get a first-hand grasp on how your business, your competitors operate. Ask customers, what they like, what they don't like about, what they're serving, and from that you gain information in that strategy. So if you're in the field with more limited access to your competitors' inner working, just like me, I'm in the financial world. Not unless that I'm inside that company, I would know everything, their operation. I can do research on their website. I can just give them a call. I can actually I let them recruit me, to see how they operate. So depends on what industry. Sometimes you just don't have the access, especially on the manufacturing side. You have to be employed to be part of it. So you will try to keep up what's relevant out there, especially on the industry that you're in. So what you can also do is you speak with their customers, and then see what information you can get out from them. And then you try to obtain all of this information, you scrutinize them, whatever information that a competitor shares in the market. Some competitors are so vulgar anyway, and they just say everything publicly, and that's a good thing though for you, because you can analyze them very well. So my point to this tip is that You have to make sure that you analyze your competition and you have to make time to do so. All right. So another tip that I can do for you guys to have for you guys to be able to grow a successful business is for you to be able to understand the risks and the rewards. Another key to being successful in this business is taking what you call a calculated risk. Besides that, contemplating to the potential reward, if ever you succeed in the business, there's always be a good question to ask to yourself, what's the downside if this doesn't work out? You have to know that. So not only the rewards, that's sometimes the rewards can blindly lead you to deciding and opening up a business without even knowing the risk attached to it. So this is exactly what you call a calculated risk. You have to make sure that you know what's going to happen if, there you go, right? We're talking about the downside if things doesn't work out. So if you can answer that question, mga kaibigan, you'll know what's the worst case scenario in your business. So if you know that, you could live and you can live with that scenario, definitely you are going to be prepared to take the necessary step if you to create a plan B, or you have a necessary step to be able to manage that risk as much as possible. So that's the reason why, if you know the risk and the rewards, definitely you have a business that you will say, yeah, I have a green light. I want to go ahead and do this business because I have this plan A and plan B on my business. So otherwise, if you don't, this could be a not a good time for you to consider other opportunities, or maybe it's still a good time to see, for you to see other opportunities as well, right? So again, mga kaibigan, if you understand the risk and the rewards, and of course, on this side, you have to be smart about the timing of starting a business or a timing of launching your new product. For example, right? So certain products or maybe a services that may be popular during a certain particular time, right? So, and then technological change happens, or maybe fashion changes, and definitely this will actually impact the population of your market, and this will actually this will actually move the behavior of your market. So all of these things you have to consider to make sure that you'll be able to understand the risks and rewards of what you're getting into. Okay, so I when I was starting my business, mga kaibigan, I always look for people who would be joining my team if they have this creativity in them. Okay, so because you always look for ways to improve your business, and that's exactly another tip that I would want to give you. You want to make sure that you can become creative in a business. You don't stop there. Every day that you wake up with your business, you have to start, wearing your creative hat, because this actually is going to be a tool that make you stand out from the competition. The last thing that you would want to do is to always copy somebody. Well, sometimes there's a lot of business people who copies, but they have innovation. They do R&D towards it. So they be able to stand out in the competition. Now, recognize that, of course, that you do not know everything. We don't know everything. That's why we have to do research. And once we do research, we analyze them. And you have to be open to new ideas and different approaches as well. That's why when I was running my business, I was just telling everybody, hey, give me some ideas. Throw it out there. Because for me, there's no stupid ideas. So you just have to keep an eye on these opportunities that you'll be able to expand your current business, or maybe even develop, your business that will actually lead to an additional revenue. And of course, it will be able to provide you of course, it will provide you more benefit because of this diversification, So let's talk about maybe the history of Amazon, right? That's actually a good example. This company started out as an online bookseller. Can you imagine? Amazon started as an online bookseller. Well, they still do it until today. In fact, you would see a lot of those that, they still push so much of their online booksellers, right? But then again, that's how they started, but they grew into an e-commerce giant, selling just about everything in the world. It has a growing brick and mortar presence. Can you imagine? They don't even have a brick and mortar, right? They're just an online presence, but outselling every brick and mortar there is. And they actually changed the idea and behavior of people who are buying, right? The market behavior, they really changed it. Before, guys, I couldn't buy something that I do not touch, right? That's just me. I need to see the item that I buy. I need to touch it, and I can actually decide if I'm going to buy it. But Amazon just changed everything about selling, So, and of course, among its many subsidiaries, and you also see Amazon Pharmacy, and then you could see also Amazon MGM Studios. They have Whole Food Market, Zappos, all of these guys, right? So what I'm trying to tell you here, guys, is you just need to be more creative in your business. Every day is a chance for you to be creative, innovative. So don't be afraid if you're going to be so different from the whole market or the whole industry. But look at Amazon. They changed the behavior of the market. That's how good they are, right? So another way on how to grow a successful business, guys, is you have to stay focused on your goals. Maybe you've heard of this thing many times before. But there's so much truth about this thing that you have to stay focused on your goals. You do not want to veer your attention to other things. You want to make sure that you grow in that direction of your goals. The old saying says, Rome wasn't built in a day. We've heard this one too many times in a lifetime, right? So it also applies to building a business. You don't expect that your business is going to grow immediately because Rome wasn't built in a day. So just because you open up a business today, it doesn't mean that you're going to start making money immediately. So I was talking about, there was a company that called me today and they were asking about marketing consultation. Yep, I'm all for it. But I have to tell them, hey, there's a huge difference between marketing and sales. It's not just one envelope, right? It's actually two different departments. Marketing and sales are two different things. We have to make sure that we understand that while marketing is going to create some touch in the market that will say, the market will tell you, hey, I like what you're saying. Now sales come in. Okay, if you like it, you buy it. So it just takes time to let people know, if you're having a business, who you are. It takes time. It just doesn't happen overnight. And then while doing that, you'll be creating expenses on the side. Because people, you have to invest in that. That's part of investment. You have to let people know what you have to offer. You have to let the people know, that they can buy. What's the value of what you're selling, So you have to stay focused on achieving your goals. So even, small business owners who have actually, some business owners, small business owners that, they actually achieve success already. They did see profit in the first few years, They actually have to rely on borrowed money. I'm not saying that you have to do it, but that depends on your business plan. If your business plan supports a borrowing of money, well, go ahead and do that as long as you can actually support it with a business plan. Otherwise, some people will actually just use their own savings to support the business until it becomes profitable. So when your business plan, especially when you're creating your financials, sometimes you already put all your expenses there, and that's going to be a part of your working capital for X number of months or X number of years until you see the returns. So that's the reason why it's very important, guys, that you have to make sure that you should be focusing on your goals and you got this necessary support or tools to be able to see the future of your business. All right, mga kaibigan, I know there's a lot of things that I've told you, but there's more that I can add on into ways on how to grow a successful business. Well, look at this, guys. You as a customer, you would want to be served, right, with great service. That's another tip for you to have a successful business. You need to provide a great customer service. Too many businesses out there, forget the importance of providing great customer service. I actually called this the office of my PCP, my primary care doctor, right? I called them, and what do you call this? I asked them, hey, I need to refill my prescription, and they said, oh, I'm so sorry. You cannot get your prescription until you get to see your primary care doctor. Okay, so can you actually just refill it a little bit, so just enough for me to see the doctor? And they said, oh, I don't want, we don't encourage like that. You just have to go to the urgent care first before you even look for you even meet the PCP. Stop. All right. So look at this. You could have said it nicely, right? Hey, we'll figure it out how we can help you to refill that, right? And see if the doctor can actually just give you enough prescription just the time that we will see you, or she will see you, right? So, I mean, a great customer service will find a way, right, to make sure that you feel good even though they're declining you, right? So that's what I mean by providing customer service. If you deliver better service for your customers, I'm gonna tell you, they'll be more inclined to come to you the next time that they need something from you. So they're never gonna go to a competition. So what did I do? I checked on my insurance because my insurance is new, and I actually checked if the insurance is okay with my previous PCP, because in the first place I didn't want to leave my PCP before, but because of my insurances, because it was new, they don't my old PCP doesn't cover it, so doesn't accept it, so I was forced to go to another PCP. But this time my new insurance actually led me back to my old PCP, which I love. See, the high quality service is one key to obtaining a competitive advantage, which actually I mentioned a while ago in the marketplace. You have to make sure, guys, that this competitive advantage, that's the key, right? The high quality service is the key to obtaining a competitive advantage in the marketplace. You just have to make sure that customer is first. You would want to deliver them great services. So some businesses, really, they're very good. They have good products, but they're very poor in customer service. So some businesses, they refer to this as taking a consumer-centric or client-centric approach. You would want to make sure that your customer is first. In fact, today, we call today the environment of business, you call it the hyper-competitive business environment. So service is often the major differentiating factor between successful and unsuccessful business. I want to make sure, guys, if you're an existing business owner right now, you want to make sure that you understand this hyper-competitive business environment. Now, what distinct, okay, if there's only one secret sauce that will definitely be a distinction between you and the competition, is the great service that you actually provide. If you do this, if you resolve the problem of your customers and they see that you're doing a great service out of that, I'm telling you, they wouldn't actually even look at the competitor anymore. So this is where the saying, undersell and over-deliver. So some people just hype it up, but when they get the customer, they don't deliver. So we rather undersell and over-deliver. This is where it comes in. And savvy business owners are actually wise to follow this saying. So if you're a wise business person, guys, undersell and over-deliver is actually your quote for the day, right? Okay, so another way to grow your business successfully is, aside from a consumer-centric approach, you would want also to be consistent. Not only now that you got the clients, right? Not only now that you got your clients, you want to keep them. By keeping them is becoming consistent, because consistency is that key component to a successful business, because you keep your book of business. So you have to keep doing what is necessary to be successful, right? So this has to be done day in and day out. This will create a long-term positive habits that will help you make money in the long run. Remember, in the first few years of the business, right, you might be breaking even or maybe even losing some couple of money, right? But you would want to make sure while this thing is going on, well, it's all part of the process. You want to keep on doing it up until you get this momentum, and one day because you created this habit that will actually help you make money in the long run. And of course, how do you do that? Well, you just created a market full of satisfied customers from the very beginning. So basically, guys, you have to be consistent. And this consistency, your customers actually will value it. Some can be what? They can be vocal about it, but just because they keep on coming back, that all says, that says it all, right? And then, in the beginning of this talk, mga kaibigan, I was mentioning to you about sacrifices. Well, in business, mga kaibigan, there's got to be some sacrifices there. You have to prepare yourself to make some sacrifices because having your own business, it often requires putting more time than if you were actually working for someone else. I'm going to tell you, if you're running your own business, especially in the very beginning, if you're working in the corporate world before, maybe you're working 8-9 hours a day, but there's one, because it is yours, you'll be putting more time, 20 hours a day, or maybe even you don't even sleep about it because, hey, it is yours. So this actually means when you're a business owner, you will be actually spending less time with your family. You will spending less time with your friends. You wish you could, but definitely not in the beginning, especially because you are in business, right? Now, when you're in business, there might be no weekends for you, and there's going to be no vacation for you. So for business owners, you can actually ring true for anyone who's committed to making their business work. That's just how it is, right? So owning a business, that's the reason why owning a business is not for everybody. But, after an honest self-evaluation, and you think that business is for you, well, that's good. But if you think that business is not for you, well, it's good too because you'll save a lot of grief, and of course you'll save yourself a lot of money by if you pursued with a business that it's not actually for you. Okay, mga kaibigan, just to make sure that we are all on the same page, what is the fastest way for a business to grow? Well, mga kaibigan, business growth, it depends on in the industry, and because they have their own rate of how you can actually make them successful, and sometimes this is not in control by you, or even the workers, However, mga kaibigan, there are some aspects in the business world, that running, lean, that may help a business grow quickly. It could be maybe focusing on first, maybe on small product lines, and then you scale up, right? Or when you scale up, you should know that it's going to be on a manageable pacing, right? And then, of course, providing some sort of obvious edge over your competitors. Those are the things that can actually make your business grow a little faster than you could. But then again, for me, I'm always going back to calculated risk. I do need to know what my risks are and how I'm going to do about it. So the bottom line, mga kaibigan, growing a business is really hard work. There's no shortcut to it, okay? As I always say, I don't know if you guys have heard of this before. It doesn't mean that you know how to cook. You can actually put up a restaurant. Many times maybe I've mentioned that. But, really, when you grow a business, it's really hard work. And not everyone in business succeeds at it. In fact, in the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, about 20% of new business actually fail. And during the first year, 50% fail when you put up a business. And during the first 5 years, during the first 5 years, 50% of the business actually fail. And 65% actually fails in their first 10 years. So look at what I'm actually telling you. It's number of years. So it means that there's going to be ups and downs in business towards, growing it for X number of years. In fact, 15 years or beyond, 25% of businesses actually fails. So if you want to be among that 25%, right, you have to pay attention to those tips that I actually gave you. It can actually help you a little bit, hopefully, right? And this actually going to give you a good start. For you to be able to own and for you to be able to run a successful business, you'll want that to be in a state of constant learning and adapting. Again, we were talking about creativity. We were talking about consistency. These are the crucial key components for your business to grow and actually be successful. All right, mga kaibigan, I hope I was able to give you a little bit of understanding on how to grow a business, right, successfully. Mga kaibigan, these are just some tips from me, and hopefully it will aid you and guide you. Once again, mga kaibigan, you're listening to In My Toolbox, and my name is Enrico Pobre, signing off.